Prashant Jain joins in on India Market Open to talk about the red hot space and maybe JSW's role within that as well. Prashant, so good having you. Thanks so much for taking the time out and being with us. Though I have a small complaint, Prashant, we should have had you in the studios, but I'll make do with you being on the show as opposed to not being at all. Thank you so much for joining in.
My pleasure.
So, Prashant, tell us, I want to start off with how does a power company of today look like 5 years from now? Because clearly, if the belief was that power companies are inventing and reinventing themselves to move towards entirely a green energy future, there is this need that has come about that you can't shun away thermal assets just completely because the country needs power, the world needs power. I think multiple countries are realizing that. So tell us, now that we're in a state of a flux, to your mind, a power company current versus what a power company could look like 5 years out.
Thanks, Neeraj. So India has twin challenges. One is to meet the growing demand, power demand. So after a long time, power demand is growing at a very robust pace, and not enough investments have happened. And you know that I've been calling from the rooftop that there will be the power shortage, and that moment has arrived. And now, you know, like power demand is growing at 9-10%. So you need to make substantial investments in the sector in order to just meet that kind of a demand. Second challenge is on the energy transition. So people are moving towards the cleaner energy. And when you move towards the cleaner energy, the investments goes up dramatically because, you know, renewable power, you have to make 3x the investment in order to meet the same, generate similar kind of a power. On top of it, you will have to make investments in the storage solutions. So one point which is very, very clear is that there is going to be a huge capital expenditure in the sector in time to come. So next 5 years, there will be a huge capital expenditure which is going to be taking place. So power companies will be making substantial investments in the sector. Second point is that there will be investments on both the sides because, like, look at the current year till date. We have already finished 8 months. The total capacity addition is 8,800 megawatt in the country, and of that only 1.8 gigawatt is thermal and balance is renewable. So what does that mean is that this incremental capacity has given you only 2.5-3 gigawatt of the additional power generation, whereas the power demand has grown by 16 gigawatt in the current fiscal. So that's what is the bottleneck which is happening, because the pace at which we need to make investment in energy transition is not matching with the pace at which the power demand is growing. So there will be the investments which will be taking in the thermal sector going forward. That is what the Ministry of Power is now advocating and talking about. And COP28, you know, India's stand was absolutely clear that we need to meet the demand of the country, and that's where we will be adding substantial capacities in the thermal sector. So both are going to coexist in time to come. But 5 years down the line, you will be talking very clearly electron to molecule businesses. There will be the new hydrogen economy which will be coming up. There will be the new chemical space which will be coming from carbon capture and the green hydrogen space. So these are the few trends which I'm seeing from now to next 5 years.
Okay, Prashant, just wondering, have the receivable situation, payment situation, cash flows changed enough for a current power company to be able to put in the kind of capital requirement that will be needed to expand capacities the way you're talking about? Or are there hindrances there?
No, there are not, structural hindrances, because structurally enough reforms have taken place. So the payments are coming on time, and then things are moving in the right direction. Of course, there could be some pockets where you can face certain regulatory hiccups. There could be certain litigations, but those are manageable. So the credit institutions are looking at it in a very favorable way at the power sector. So, 5 years ago, there was not enough credit institutions who were ready to lend money to the power companies. today I can say every credit institution is ready to lend money to the power company. So that's what demonstrate that the payment cycle and then has improved, and also structurally enough reforms have taken place into the country. But is it enough? No. But will it become absolutely good in next 4 5 years? Yeah, answer is yes.
Okay, Prashant, good morning. Tamanna here, and absolutely thrilled to speak with you. We had our last conversation quite some time ago, so great to have you here on week one of NDTV Profit. Just want to understand whether the pain point of all energy companies, power generating companies, has actually eased when it comes to, very simply put, getting your dues. And I refer to a favorable verdict for your company from the High Court of Karnataka about a month ago, when the question was about per unit payment from about 7.5 to 4.5 rupees odd, where you had to be paid 7.5 rupees and the state government in question wanted to pay about 448. Now, are those niggles truly receding when it comes to it? And does that make a difference? I mean, that same problem will persist whether you're selling renewable energy or traditional forms of energy. Doesn't that have to be solved first?
No, it's a better framework now. So what I can say that there could be certain frustration for individual power company for with individual distribution company at different point of time. So those are the difficulties which you have to manage, because it is a little bit regulated business and power is a little social sector. So you need to understand how to manage that. But on a 30,000 feet level, if I have to say that majority of the framework is put into the order. So today, if a distribution company is not paying you on time and you are having an access to the Prapti portal where you are going to put your dues on that particular portal, they will have to make payment. Otherwise, from the Ministry of Power, their power will be cut down, and there are enough measures which are throttling the distribution company to pay you on time. As regards to the disputes, of course, there are the dispute redressal mechanism in the country, and where you have to follow that. But majority problems are over.
A point there about profitability and whether renewable energy, and the focus here is on renewable because that is the lofty ambition, that's the future. Whether the sort of profit model, cost model of renewable energy is now becoming clearer, even when it comes down to the end consumer, because it costs more to create at this point, isn't it?
In a way, yes, or in a way, no. So what I want to say is that today the renewable power is in the range of like 2 rupee 50 paisa to 3 rupee 25 paisa. And whereas the fossil fuel power tariff is around on an average is 4 rupees to 4 rupee 20 paisa. But you have to add the transmission cost and cost of storage, then put together, then renewable power will be little expensive. It will be in the range of like 5 rupees, 5 rupee 25 paisa, but thermal power tariff is every year going up. And so if you look at the 25-year levelized tariff, then it is going to be similarly in the same range, like 5 rupee 25 paisa. So both of them are more or less equal, but the consumers are indifferent that they are sourcing from which source of power. The problem of the power companies are created by themselves, that when there is a bidding which is happening, they try to become more and more aggressive to bid at a very lower tariff, and which is not competitive for them, and then they don't have the enough cash flow. So it's the model which is a little bit faulty, and then problem is created by the power company themselves, not the from the consumer point of view.
Okay. At the end of the day, the question is whether consumers are going to be willing to pay more, and more importantly than that, will governments continue to promise free power? In that sense, who pays? Now, you are saying that problem is over. Are you saying the problem is over or receding?
I'm not saying. So I don't think power tariffs are high in the country. So like today, the total basket of the Indian grid is around 4 rupee 30 paisa, which you are talking about 5.25 cents. if you look at any developing country or any developed country, the power tariffs are in the range of 6.5 cents to 10 cents. So consumers will be willing to pay at higher tariff, and that's where the point I'm advocating. The power company needs to be disciplined to bid in a rational manner when there is a competitive bid which is taking place. Consumers are ready to pay even higher tariff. You and me are paying 10 rupee as a on an average is the tariff. Of course, India has certain needs, and the people at the lower strata, they need to be given power at a subsidized rate, and that's what is happening in the various elections you are trying to see. But those things will get sorted out in next 4, 5, 10 years time frame. But the regulatory framework is in such a way that each power company can make enough money to on the equity which they are trying to put. So it's the kind of a discipline which can sort out this particular problem. Not we cannot wish away that India is having a large population which is below the poverty line, and their needs also needs to be taken care of. So it's very easy to criticize, but I think slowly the things are changing, and in 5 years time frame you will see the different word in power sector.
Just one broader question beyond your own company also, Prashant, because I know this is a space that you're very passionate about when it comes to renewable, and I want to understand your sense and your assessment of where we stand in terms of the goals we have, whether it's COP28 or otherwise, to make renewable energy the center stage of fueling the growth for a country like India. Do you think the regulatory landscape is in place? Do you think there are enough players with that capacity for expansion right now to achieve those goals?
So yes, I think in India there are a lot of corporates and a lot of platforms which have been created in last 5, 7 years time frame, and then those platforms as well as the strategic players will be making substantial investments in time to come. So whatever the targets which Government of India Ministry of Power has put out, I think those are going to be achieved. Yes, there will be certain delays because of the various supply chain issues, various other structural issues which are relevant to India, like the right of the way and the land acquisition and those kind of a thing. But those are going to change the time frame by 1 or 2, 3 years here and there. Other than that, I think there is enough capital which is available in the sector. There is enough appetite with the credit institution to fund these kind of projects. And JSW Energy per se has ambitious targets, which we have already spelled out. By 2030, we will be putting close to 20 gigawatt of the generation capacity and 40 gigawatt hour of the storage capacity. I think we will be doing better than that. There will be the positive surprises on that side. Of course, there could be the little bit of shift that if we see the more opportunities into the thermal segment, we may try to add up some more capacity into the thermal side also. And that's what is most of the players are going to do. So I think the kind of investments which have been put into the horizon from all sides, it is going to be achieved by JSW Energy as well as the other strategic players and then other platforms.
Prashant, a bit of numbers, a couple of questions on numbers really. Most notes that I read talk about how there is a very strong possibility that EBITDA growth for your company, for select power companies as well, but your company in particular, could be 3x over a period of FY23 to 26, and then probably more as times move ahead and your capacities become even stronger. Distinct possibility, you think?
No, absolutely. It will be maybe the better than that. So because the kind of a growth in capital expenditure we are putting in, I'm quite optimistic that we will be doing better than that.
Okay. One more question then. And everybody's got their own way to value companies. Select power companies get better valuations than others. But do you think because of the number of things that a power company like yours is doing, you're also getting that green hydrogen capacities going for the group company, but otherwise also, and you're doing these very interesting thermal power acquisitions as well, stressed assets, etc. Would you believe that the street is valuing power companies correctly, or there needs to be a dimension or two added there?
I'm not the right person to comment on the valuation per se, but what I can talk about that now going forward, the visibility of the free cash flow is going to improve only because in terms of the regulations, the things have stabilized. In terms of the technology, most of the things have stabilized, and then because of large scale of operations, which most of the companies are now putting up, this that scale is bringing a lot of cost advantages to them. And you need to see one part very categorically that in case of the power companies, you need to see the discounting mechanism of the credit. And if you look at 1990 to 2000 and 2000 to 2010 and 2010 to 2020, the credit cost every year has been going down by 250 to 350 basis point. So in the next 2 decades, you will be seeing lower credit cost for all power companies going forward, and which is going to improve their free cash flows going forward. So power companies needs to be valued based on those free cash flows going forward, and then price to book multiples and various other mechanisms which are being considered, you will be seeing a positive upside risk in terms of the valuation in power sector going forward.
Okay, so last question, Prashant, give me a sense of how do you expect these free cash flows to be like, and give us a sense of as you move on, you happy with what JSW Energy's achieved thus far, and do you reckon that the path for the next 3 years has a lot of other dimensions that will come into play when it comes to this company, from being a power company which is manufacturing thermal power and renewable energy to doing more things?
So we are one of the free cash flow company. We generate close to 3,500 crores of the cash, and which we are deploying for the growth of the business. And as we improve our capacity, this free cash flow is going to increase by another 1,500 crores, and then maybe by 2030 it will be approximately 7,500 crore, and that's what is going to propel the next leg of the growth into the energy transition in electron to molecule, green hydrogen, chemical space, because this cash will be used to grow the company without any need of the incremental capital, and that's what I see the absolute visibility. In terms of the 3-year roadmap, what I say is that not even 3 years, I think we are set for more than 7-10 years time frame. There is enough free cash. There is a complete roadmap which has been carved out, like JSW Group is doing the complete energy transition, and then steel capacity is also going to be developed in next 4-5 years time frame, and which is going to give a lot of huge flip to the JSW Energy to meet the the group requirement. In addition to that, the green hydrogen space and then energy storage application. So I think we are absolutely set for next 7-10 years time frame.
All right, yes, JSW Group focusing on, I think, cleaner fuels, even in that EV push. Though there are no details out there about it. Prashant, you're smiling. Anything you want to share?
No, actually, that's the group initiative. So I'm not privy to that, but I'm really excited what JSW Group is absolutely doing. And this is one space we were not present, and it is going to change add the new dimension. And of course, in 2017-18, I was working on that particular project. It is closer to my heart. So I see that it's happening now.
So affordable EV cars by JSW for Indians?
Absolutely.
All right, that's a nice headline there from Prashant Jain as well. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure to speak with you, and we hope to speak with you soon, perhaps in a new avatar when we have news of what's next in your exciting journey. Thank you.